I disagree. I disagree with you on this one, Bob.
That's why we have the great sports.
You know what?
I love.
Hey, in a couple of weeks, you guys may all be telling me, "Hey, shut up, man. This team's going to lose, 10 in a row." I'm not buying it, but I have to wait just like you and see what happens, but I'm not buying it. I think they bounce back this week against the Raiders, but funny, you're not the only one. I'm telling you, a few days ago, people wanted $50 million thrown at Brian Hoyer. Now, people want him to get lost on his way to the stadium on Sunday. I'm just saying, man. It's funny how these things
you can't put everything on one player.
Of course not. Of course not, man. It's hilarious.
You can't. I mean, he just.
But Bob, seriously, they're 3-3. Why would you think they're going to finish 4-12? I mean, you really see them going 1-9 down the stretch here?
1-9 or 0-10, absolutely.
Wow.
I think that game in Jacksonville was a telltale sign for me. Going down there to a team 0-6, struggling much more than our Cleveland Browns, and just falling apart.
I mean,
falling apart, not only defensively, which we have all year, but offensively also. And then for Hoyer coming out saying, I didn't want to get sacked, or I didn't want to get this. I let the balls fly out early. Come on, man. You may think that in your mind, but don't say that to the press.
Let me tell you, though, I think, listen, he was being very honest with the media. He did not go that far. And listen, this is a guy that I was just talking to somebody about this last night. I said, we watched him it's not like none of these other teams blitzed the quarterback. He was taking some shots and staying in there, delivering the ball. I'm not talking about this past weekend. This season, he has stood in there. So I don't want to say just that. The offensive line was jacked up, and it just changed everybody's cadence. It's far from just Hoyer. Everybody was screwing up left and right. But
you're right. Everybody was, and I'll tell you what. Like I said a few weeks ago, our offensive line was producing, is doing pretty good. But that loss of Mack, our center,
that's big.
With Hoyer, I think it might have done a little something to the psyche of Hoyer.
To the whole offense in general, I think it hurts the psyche of the whole offense in general a bit,
absolutely. But hey, I mean,
I'm
quarterback, center, quarterback.
I'm looking for that to calm down this week. I think if they slide McDonald into the center just because he's a natural center, slide Greco back over to his comfortable guard position, let McQuiston be your backup again just in case anybody gets hurt. I think that's your most likely lineup for success right now because it's easier. You're only changing one guy's position instead of two. I really believe that is the way to go. And I disagree, Vashon, in the chat room. If you don't think that there was a few snap issues, then you weren't watching. You need to go rewatch the game because there were a few low snaps. They didn't affect the outcome of the game, but there were some issues throughout the game. And also, Greco was 100% responsible for the snap that wasn't supposed to happen, which I don't blame him. Everybody heard 50 different play calls. For some reason, Hoyer heard one thing, Greco heard another thing, the receivers heard another thing, Ben Tate heard something else.
On.
So, you know what I mean? They weren't supposed to run that play at all. That was supposed to be come to the line, and if they don't jump, we just let the clock run out, we take a 10-yard penalty, and we punt the ball down the field. So there were issues. Come on, I am not going to sit here and make excuses for the Browns, but at the same time, I'm not going to sit here and let people say that the loss of one of the best centers in the NFL does not change your entire offense. Come on, man. That's just piling on for the sake of not wanting to say anything good about the Browns. And you ain't got to go in that direction. You don't have to be in my corner, but you don't go in the other corner either. Let's be fair about things. But all right, Bob, I got callers coming in. I got to let you go. Anything else?
You got it, Big Daddy. Yeah, and I got to say kudos out to Joe Bitonio. I didn't think he was going to play as a rookie the way he is. He's playing. So
yeah, I like what he's done too.
So kudos out to you, baby.
I like Joel Bitonio. Yep, absolutely. All right, Big Bob, thank you so much for the call, buddy.
All right, Big Daddy. You have a great day, man.
You got it. Big Bob up in Bristol, Connecticut, my man, with the phone call. And if you guys want to get in, hey, man, Vashawn, you know the phone number. If you want to argue with me, baby. Phones are open, 216-539-7535, the number to call, 216-539-7535. Matter of fact, I've got calls coming in. I'm going to go back to the phone line here in just a moment. I'm going to talk some Browns on the other side of the break here, too, not just what we were talking. And you know what? I'll save this for the other side, but, you know, some of the other things that you guys in the last 24 hours, some of the people that are trying to ride the fence on the quarterback thing that are, you know, just in case Hoyer pulls out of it, they don't want to go all the way into the side of, you know, anti-Hoyer, because in case he turns it around, they've got to be able to bounce back, because, you know, that's what people around here do. They ride the fence and they play both sides and all of that. But they're throwing out I like Hoyer, but if the offensive line is jacked up and the mobility is now needed out of the quarterback, then you might want to put Manziel in because he's out. Listen, the last place you want to put the rookie quarterback who couldn't win the job that was practically handed to him in the preseason. The reason from his drafting is what I mean. Yeah, let's put him out there under the jacked up offensive line and running for his life with everything. Oh, come on, man. Let me tell you, it would have been worse. It would have been as bad or worse. The time will come, maybe, where we have that conversation, but you're just looking for something to talk about if you have that conversation now, man. Just looking for some way to talk. I don't know. That's about it. I'm going to go back to the phone lines. Talk to me. Caller, you're up on the Sports Fix. Caller.
Oh, my God, man, I got in.
Hello, you're on. Where you at?
Man, this me, man. This Keith, man. Long time listener, first time ever getting
What's
in.
up, man? How you doing?
I blame that on your son, by the way, but I ain't mad at him.
What's up?
Listen, man. First of all, I don't appreciate you calling me out. Second of all,
man.
Brian Hoyer, listen. Brian Hoyer has been terrible. I just don't see how you can bring the whole Mac factor in when it had no bearing on how they played against Pittsburgh. It's like as long as they win, everything is fine. But when they lose, it's like the excuses pile up. And to me, it just doesn't make sense. For me, personally, in watching the game, the only difference was, unlike the first 5 games, that Jacksonville decided to press the outside receivers. You didn't see 7-yard cushions. You didn't see guys allowing to run free in space. You didn't see Brian Hoyer back there playing pitch and catch. They pressed outside. They brought pressure, more guys than the Browns could block, and that was the difference in the game.
I said it. I think I said it a couple of times already this week, but I do disagree as far as that. You have to say that played a man. I get it. There's a difference between stepping in, spur of the moment, sliding over, being able to fill in for a half or 3 quarters. I truly believe that. And it's my own fault because I underestimated what that week of thinking about that would go for John Grant. I'm telling you, you can think not. I disagree with you, though. I think that you're still next man up. Listen, I ain't making excuses. So let me just say that right now. Brian Hoyer played like garbage the other day, as did the majority of this team, man. Plain and simple. It's not like you got a bunch of guys grading out at 95s and then there was Brian Hoyer keeping the team down. Now, come on, man. Whole team didn't do their job. But the offensive line was not as good against Jacksonville across the board as they were after Mac went out against Pittsburgh. I believe it's the difference of the.
I get that. I'm saying, listen, they weren't as good, but there's a reason why they weren't as good. See, the hardest thing to do on the offensive line is get a guy injured, man, on the fly, and you got to try to move guys around because you don't prepare for that. You see what I'm saying? So that's the most difficult task at hand. You lose a key offensive line guy on in a game, and you got to make adjustments. So now you're putting guys in unfamiliar, positions on the fly. But when you have a week to prepare, there's no excuse for poor play. You see what I'm saying? You have to think in mindset, okay, we got a Pro Bowl center out. We have to anticipate that Jacksonville is going to bring pressure. How do we make that adjustment? You go in at halftime, you make no adjustments. It's still the same thing. Brian Hoyer threw 41 passes. He was credited with 3 drops. That's on the quarterback. You see what I'm saying? If you know they're bringing pressure, you either change protection or you have guys cutting off routes. None of that happened. How many passes did the running back catch?
I don't believe it was any. I think there was a drop by Agnew, and there may have been one or two receptions by the backs throughout the game, but I don't remember anything significant.
Agnew was a fullback. You're not throwing to him anyway.
I agree.
So that's bad play calling and preparation. But see, here's my thing with Brian Hoyer. People think he has this quick release, man, and he goes through reads and progressions, and that's far from the case. I'm thinking this was in the third quarter, and there was a pass to Travis Benjamin on the left-hand side. It was like three guys around it, but if you saw it right underneath, like 10 or 15 yards down the field, it was the guy crossing wide open. How do you not see that guy and look past him to see Benjamin in triple coverage? You know why? Because you had your mind made up when you broke the huddle that Benjamin was the guy you was going to go to. You don't agree with that either?
Oh, no, listen. Where in anything I've said this week did I not say that Brian Hoyer played a terrible game the other day? He didn't play a terrible game just because he had problems on the offensive line. He played a terrible game in general, and he'll be the first one to tell you that. He missed wide open guys. I can give you 5 more on top of the one you just threw out there that were wide open guys that he missed. And I try to big picture, not week-to-week things. And I know where you're coming from. I'm not discrediting some of the stuff that you're saying. These are things that, to me, if I see this again next week or two in a row, those are big picture. You start to go, okay, this is not changing. But and I'm going to do this in the next segment when we come back, there's plenty of examples of quarterbacks, great quarterbacks, who lay 1 or 2 per season eggs, games where they just aren't connecting with guys, and I'm going to go through some of them there in the next segment. But so I'm just saying, let's see where this team goes. I don't even know what you just said.
Now you're reaching. See,
I'm not reaching for anything. I'm saying that. Go ahead.
See, I disagree with you. I respectfully disagree with you.
Go ahead.
Here's my thing. When you're a bad football team, and granted, the Browns are 3-2, but they still a bad football team. They average 5 wins a season, man, since returning in 1999.
I know that.
When schedules come out, teams are circling the Browns. I don't give a damn who the Browns are circling, but teams are circling the Browns. So when you're a bad football team, there's no such thing as a trap game. There's next game, but there's no trap games. You don't go up against an 0-6 team and lay an egg. I don't care. I mean, now, granted, you're a bad team. Jacksonville is the worst team. You see what I'm saying? So I don't buy into the trap game. I don't buy into the whole Max situation. You knew what you were up for. You know what I'm saying? And the only difference in me was how Jacksonville chose to approach playing Cleveland. They didn't sit back in zone. They didn't give guys 7 yards off the line of scrimmage. I mean, come on now. Any NFL quarterback, you got a 7-yard cushion. The defense is beat at the snap of the ball. You see what I'm saying? You go 5 yards and break a slant, the guy's on his heels, and you reduce to playing chase and hope defense. So I don't buy that part. But here's something that kind of really made me mad.
I respectfully disagree a bit, too, just because it's not like it took 6 games for teams to start. It's not like this is the first time teams pressed the Browns receivers. I mean, if the play action's working, but I'm saying, if the play action's working, you can cover my guys as tight as you want. They're still going to find openings. The play action wasn't there.
Not true.
Then.
Not true. Not true. I think it was Tony Grossi, man, who posted his stats, man, from half to half. If you look at the first game against Pittsburgh pressed the whole first half. Hoyer had no success. Guys couldn't get open. You look at the second half, they have 21 points or whatever the hell it was. They come
I know that. You're right. Yes, right? Absolutely. I'll give you week 1 for sure.
That was every game. You look at New Orleans. Now, granted, New Orleans is a different team outside. We all know that. But the defense in the first half against Drew Brees, they forced punts on the first 4 possessions. As the Cleveland Browns, as bad as you are or as good as you think you might be, you have to take advantage of that. Defense is not a strength. I don't care what the writer said because they brought so-and-so in. They didn't upgrade. They just swapped out contracts. They made a change in faces and new places. That's all that was. It wasn't that Whitner was an upgrade over Ward or Danzig was an upgrade over Jackson. Man, Jackson having a hell of a year in Indianapolis. So you can't say it was a difference there. Indianapolis is doing a lot better than Cleveland on defense. Am I not correct?
I like DeQuell Jackson. I hear you. I like Dansby too, and I